What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another one. Today we'll be working on the old spark plugs. Alright, so before I get started on the spark plugs, I just want to go through the old 2020 list, which probably needs to be updated by now. For the most part, most of the stuff is done on it, except for a few things like the sunroof. Eventually I will probably get to it. I'm not comfortable taking out the headliner, so I'm gonna have to figure something out right there. The radio, I did try messing with the radio. I got a double DIN radio or touchscreen radio. I tried to install it, but I'll be honest with you guys, I am not good with electrical. As soon as I got some kind of progress on it, it went crazy. Like the cluster stopped working, and I just didn't get any sound out of it. So I'm gonna have to take it to like a professional for them to check it out or fix it for me. Alright, for the water pump and the radiator petcock, so it's not leaking from the petcock, it is actually leaking from the back of the water pump. And for those of you guys that have done it before, you guys know it's a really involved job and it's really hard. And I'm probably gonna have somebody else do it for me because I'm not gonna mess with that. Alright guys, the cluster did get fixed. So I ended up fixing the cluster. I ended up taking out the plastic piece in the front, the cover, and as messed up as it sounds, guys, I just had to push down the needles a little bit and just kind of figure out whereabouts the speed was, because I had bought another one from somebody else nearby to me on the old Facebook marketplace, but he sold me a messed up cluster where it doesn't have the info thing at the bottom. So he sold me a messed up cluster, but it's alright. We ended up figuring it out. So now the speed is pretty accurate on the Cobalt. I've driven it, I use Google Maps and I use Waze, and it's, you know, it's good enough. It's within tolerances. What else? Evap Canister. Evap Canister is something I've been dealing with since I got the car. So when I got the car, obviously you have to register here in California. You're gonna have it smogged. For you guys, I don't know if any other states don't have smog, but I know obviously California does, and it's pretty strict here. So when I took the car in to get smogged the first time back in 2020, the technician told me that the evap wasn't ready. So he had me drive to a nearby city, drove over there and drove back. So it was about like a half an hour drive, came back, and he still told me that the evap canister didn't pass, but he was going to work his magic or whatever. Probably just burned him out now, but I doubt that he watches Cobalt videos. So I went back to him this year, and I thought maybe fixing a bunch of this other stuff right here would help out, but it didn't. So once again, I took it in, and again, the car said evap not ready. If any of you guys know what that means or what it is, let me know. See, that way I can probably end up getting that fixed. Now, after all this stuff right here, guys, I probably should have done the spark plugs part of the tune-up when I first got the car. But you know me, I like to put the carriage before the horse and just do a bunch of other difficult stuff before I can knock out the easy stuff. But it is what it is. Obviously, along with the tune-up, you have to do an oil change, spark plugs, a serpentine belt, and probably some other kind of fluid change, but we've already done it. We've done the transmission fluid change and all that, but that's just a little recap on this stuff, guys. Alright, let's get started on the spark plugs. Alright, before I get started, I'm going to show you guys a tool that I'm going to be using to get the job done. Alright, so first and foremost, I'm going to have my ratchets and all that right here. It's going to be my spark plug socket set. So you can use a regular socket if you guys wanted to, but on the inside of them, it doesn't have the little rubber. For me, I'm going to be using the 5/8. That's a call for the size for the spark plug. And this little set that I bought a while back does have it. Here's the 5/8 again. But if you guys see in the inside, sort of, take my word for it, there's like a little rubber boot in there. So when you guys are putting the spark plug in, it doesn't just fall and hit, and then it'll mess up the little electrode on it. So that's what we're going to be using. Now, these are the OEM ones that it calls for. These are right here. I did check through the Haynes manual, and if you guys see, where is it at? Right here, for a 2.0 engine, it is a NGK PFRT or 6T-G10 or 10G. And I'm not dyslexic today, so that'll be right there. That's through the Haynes manual, and through the Chilton, I think it's the same deal. Let's see what we got here. This page or on that page. Here we go. So also 2.0 liter engines, NGK PFR6T 10G. So that's the OEM ones. Now I'm really curious to what the car has inside of it right now, but we're gonna find out. Let's see. Whoop, before I forget, let me check what gap size. So for the 2.0 on the Chilton, it says 39 thousandths of an inch right there. Let's see, on the Haynes it says, what do we got here? Also 39 thousandths of an inch. Oops, sorry guys. 39 thousandths of an inch right there. All right, so the tool that I'm going to be using, I mean, there's different tools you can use. There's different to gap the spark plugs. Some of them do come pre-gap, but I don't think these platinums, they come gapped. And there's a few tools that you can use. You can use like a feeler gauge type. I don't think I have the 39 thousandths on this one. I think the highest it goes is 30, so won't be using this one. Here's the coin one. Old trusty. I think most of us have used it before or are using it still right now. A lot of people go against it. They don't like using it. They don't like using this one. They say it mess up the electrode. So I'm gonna be using this one right here. So it should be at 39 thousandths of an inch. So what is that, about 40 right here? 40 is gonna be close enough for me. I'll try to get it to that ballpark, but we'll see. All right guys, now let's go do the little disassembly. So something else that I noticed online right now, I was checking my phone, was that I guess a ZZP says that you should probably do it at 35 thousandths of an inch. This is back in 2019, and obviously the repair manual Haynes and Chilton say something else, but it is the same company doing it, so I'm not sure what I should do. 35 thousandths, 39. I'm gonna go with easier, probably the 35, because I don't have a 39, so I'm gonna go to the 35. What do you guys think? So I'm gonna be gapping them right now. All right, I've been having a little bit of a hard time recording this video because my camera keeps overheating, or my old phone keeps overheating. It's a little bit over, I want to say over 110. So it's a scorcher out here today. Nobody's outside. All right, I am missing one car in the fleet. That is because it's being repaired. All right, here we go. All right guys, we're gonna get started by taking off this little cover right here for the spark plugs. And we're gonna be using a, what is it, a Torx 30. So we'll be taking it out right now. All right guys, so I noticed one thing on this red lid. I've never seen other Cobalts with it, but just by taking the screw off right here, you can see the little red inside of it. I think the previous owner is the one that probably painted them, so I don't think this one came factory red. Yeah, now I'm starting to see a little bit more red right here. Let's see. Here goes my neighbor. Training his truck. Got a nice little Chevy Avalanche. Alright. One more to go. Now that we got all the bolts out, let's just take this piece off. Alright, yeah, this guy spray painted it. I thought it came red. I've seen some online. I guess it's something that people do, not something necessarily that the manufacturer made. Darn it. Well, whatever. Good enough for me still. I'm going to keep it that way. Alright guys, let's see what we have going on right here. I got your basic run-of-the-mill coil lawn plug. As you guys can see, I have not been in here. It's nice and dirty in there. Alright, I have never done this before, but from what I've seen, I think this is a 10 millimeter. I'm going to take it out. And then this, as you lift up, I think it should slide out. Alright, let's start by removing that bolt that holds down the coil. That was pretty easy. Like that. Got a little shorty. I think these are different than the turbocharged ones. The turbocharged ones they seem like they're a little bit longer. Alright, so to get this piece off, you just lift a little plastic. Now before I picked up the car, oh, there goes the whole coil. Hey, so should I even unplug it? I probably will, just to clean it out, but let's see what's going on here. Alright, it's dry. That's a good sign. Let's see the spark plug hole. The previous owner had told me the day I picked it up, he goes, oh, I just finished changing out the spark plugs. A lot of people say that when you're buying a used car from them, but 9 times out of 10 they probably don't do it. Let's see right now. Let's get this spark plug out. Alright, so I'm still having issues with my camera overheating because it's about 110 right now in the garage. Not too good. I had to get it out. I'm going to clean it up. I don't like putting things back in if they're dirty. I'm going to clean them up before I put them back. That way I know it's clean. Alright, let's get this spark plug out. So I already went ahead and I started getting it loose. So all I need to do is just put this in there. Now it's got that little rubber piece inside. You guys can kind of see it right there. That'll catch the spark plug. And you're going to feel like it go in like it did right there. There it is. Got it. Alright. I haven't looked at it myself, I'm being honest. I haven't looked at it. What do you guys think? AC Delco? Shoot, maybe Autolite? Some cheap brand? Let's find out. Alright. Let's get it over to the workbench. Let's see what it is. Oh man, it's all wet. Not always a good sign. Maybe it is. Oh, it is an NGK, but is it the NGK that it needs? No. It is the Iridium, so I guess it'd be the better version of the NGKs. And these the Platinums. Ooh. Oh man, but it's a little oil soaked. What does that mean? Alright. Be right back, guys. Alright, now that I got the camera back on the tripod, I don't feel like I'm shaking it up anymore. So, alright guys, here's the old one. So, Iridium is better than Platinum. So I saw online right now, but yeah, like I said, this one was wet. I did check the gap on it, and it's hey, it's gap there because it's barely touching. You try to go to the 40, it barely fits in. Maybe he could have done a little bit better. Maybe the electrode wore down a little bit, but in 2 years, you guys think this is 2 years worth of wear? And I'm not talking about everyday use. Remember, I told you guys this Cobalt sits in my garage for months at a time. I probably take it out once a month, twice a month at the most. It's been 2 years, so I've probably taken it out maybe 10 times to drive it around, you know, getting maintenance, getting the alignment, getting the wheels balanced, getting the wheel balanced again like I did recently. That was a nightmare and a scare. My wheels kept shaking when I took it out to drive after I had them balanced. So that brings me to a different topic. So whenever you guys go and get wheels installed, please don't cheap out. Don't go to a cheap mom and pop hole in the wall shop where they'll do all four for $100. I went, I took it in for this one little shop around the corner from where I live. They're never busy, and this for a reason too. I went in, they told me they'll mount and balance all four of my wheels and tires for $100. So I'm like, hey, can't beat that with stick, right? Took it in, had them mounted and balanced, and I put them on the Cobalt. Next thing I knew, it was just shaking. The steering wheel was just shaking hard. I didn't know what it was, so I thought maybe it needed an alignment again, but it didn't. So I took it to this better place, not too far from right here, and I had them rebalance the tires. And lo and behold, come to find out, the front passenger side was really off, way off. Like they just put a weight in just some random spot, and it just didn't work out. So next time I go and I get new wheels or something, wheels and tires, I'm gonna make sure I go to a better shop. Please don't cheap out, guys. All right, back to this. So the Haynes manual recommends that we do it at we torque down the new spark plugs at 15 foot-pounds. So that's exactly what we'll do. I already set my torque wrench in 15 foot-pounds right there. And let's get started. Alright guys, I got it on the little spark plug tool on a little rubber boot so that way it doesn't fall off. I'm going to ease it in slowly with the torque wrench. I should probably take it off. And then, once it's well seated, I'll put it on. Alright, so slowly put it in. Kind of feel it. Alright, now I feel like it's going in. Alright, there, right there, it's bottomed out. Now we put on our torque wrench. Remember, it's at 15 foot-pounds. So it won't take much to click. Now I feel a little. It's getting there. There it is. 15 foot-pounds. Alright, hopefully it's a better camera angle. Alright guys, we got the spark plug in. Now we gotta get the coil back in. I was telling you guys that this little thing kind of slides up when you pull it out. So to put it back in, just insert it. And then as you bring it down, it should slide itself forward. See? It kind of slid itself forward. There, you hear like a little positive click and it clicked on. Alright, I've already gone ahead and cleaned inside the valley right here. So it's nice and clean. Then I cleaned the coil all around it, inside of it. Now, just gotta put that bolt back in the hole down the coil. Now, I couldn't find any foot-pounds to torque it down to, so I'm just gonna put it back to what I felt when I took it off. Let's see. Oop, there it is. Just tighten it just a little bit right there. It wasn't too tight when I pulled it out. So, coil's on there, and the spark plug's in there. Obviously, the new one. We're gonna check on it in a couple months, see how it's doing, see how wet it gets. Maybe it was just a fluke that it got oil all over it. Alright, I'm gonna keep moving on to the other ones. I'm not gonna bore you guys with the replacement because it's the same thing with the other 3 spark plugs. Alright, as far as everything that's been going on with the car, everything's been running really good, knock on wood. Transmission, as far as that fluid change, everything came out good. As far as the supercharger oil, also very good. It hasn't grenaded on me yet. And it's been over a year since I changed out the intercooler pump, little pump on the bottom. If you guys haven't seen that video, please check it out. Everything's still working really good. Slowly but surely, guys, we're getting the car done. We're getting there. Headlights still look really good. Yeah, some good little progress going on with the car. Alright, so I got all 4 installed in there. I got everything all cleaned up in there as much as I could. I wanted to clean up more in the valley, but I can, and it'll do for now. Only thing I noticed, guys, that the common thing on here was when I was loosening these spark plugs, they weren't like tight to like spec, I guess, to the 15 foot-pounds, because it took more turns to tighten it down than it was for me to take it out, every single one of them. I think that's probably why it explains why the plugs are wet, because looking inside the plug holes, there was not oil like splashed everywhere. It was just all concentrated within the hole of where the spark plug goes. So I'm hoping that with me torquing down the spark plugs to spec, it'll hopefully remedy that issue of the spark plugs being wet, maybe. Does that make sense? I'm not sure what I'm saying. I'm overheating. It's like 110 degrees outside. But hopefully that'll fix it. Let's go look at the old spark plugs. Alright, so here are all 4 spark plugs. This one I tried cleaning up. This is the first one that I took out. I tried cleaning up with some brake clean, but it didn't come off. I want to venture a guess and say that maybe he was lying to me and he didn't change out the spark plugs. These look like they've been on for a minute. They're all kind of wet, but I don't know if it's a, like a good wet or a bad wet, as far as the spark plugs being bad. I don't see any fouling. I mean, like the electrodes, they all look like they were burning right. I mean, nothing looks like it's oil soaked or anything like that. Not even the first one. But yeah, there it is, guys. So these are the iridiums. This is what was on there before. What do you guys think? You guys think the iridium is better than platinum? Alright, everything's buttoned back up. Everything's put back together. Let's fire it up. Let's see what happens. Alright guys, let's fire it up. Check engine lights. Oh man, it's hot outside. Sitting in my garage, it's 104 in the car, or outside next to the car in the ambient air. So there it is. See, look guys, no longer over at 10 miles per hour. So RPM gauge and speedometer is good. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for this one. The engine didn't grenade itself after I changed the spark plugs. So that's always a good sign, right? Alright, hopefully this helps somebody out there. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.